Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. Go to work naked day is now a mandatory national holiday. Which jobs have the worst outcome from this? Welders. Ooh, spicy raindrops. When the incandescents burn my balls just like spicy raindrops. Mary Jane is the only thing that makes the pain stop. Insulation installers, pink fiberglass everywhere. I can feel this everywhere right now. Firefighters. Use your hose. No, the other one. He's got a good flow going, Sarge, and he's not going to be able to turn it off easily. Septic tank divers. On the upside, if they need to take a dump they can just do it without having to stop working. Always shit on company time. Party clown, even worse if it is for a child's birthday. Even worse if it is for a child's birthday. I'm not down with clowning, but where else are you inviting party clowns? Adult birthdays. I seen clown getting hired for promoting stores and for events also. Look, children, a dachshund. Squeaky noises and now it's a giraffe. Squeaky noises and now it's a teddy bear. Screams of horrified children. Grade school teachers. People who are homeschooled are freaking out. RN. What are you doing, step instructor? Astronauts are Mayo. Naked in a space suit. I mean, that would probably be the most uncomfortable thing, wouldn't it? I was thinking just naked in space Mayo, no space suit. Fry cook. Kitchen work in general. I'm a chef. Judging by the amount of burns on my arms, I would burn my dick off in like an hour. Once at the end of working in a seasonal cooking job I made good on my promise to show up to work in nothing but apron and Crocs. I lasted 10 minutes on the line before bailing to get something between my skin and hot grease. So I can confirm that cooking naked is a terrible idea. Magician. Hey mister, where were you hiding those handkerchiefs? Literally a recurring nightmare of mine. I am a teacher, older kids 12 to 18. Same, I teach 13-year-olds. This is my back to school leave nightmare. I would keep a sick day aside just for this. See, everyone is making this a CP thing, but in reality this would be awful because middle schoolers are the fucking worst and would make so much fun of you. Yo miss, why yo nipples don't make eye contact, L. As a chemist, I think I'll just call in sick. I'm pretty sure DCM is good for your skin. Jackhammer operator. I think the unhindered jangling of your bits while operating a jackhammer would be mesmerizing. Maybe even like a fan that goes at the exact right speed so that it appears to not be moving at all. You've got a beautiful way with words. The adult industry would experience confusion over who belongs in front versus behind the camera. Cameraman finally gets to shoot his shot. Job with both the best and worst, waitressing or anything with tips. My friend was waitressing and was wearing a skirt that was a bit too big for her. She was carrying a tray of food. Her skirt fell to the floor. She was just standing there in front of her table, and the entire restaurant, in just a G-string. She had to stop and carefully put down the tray before pulling her skirt back up. And then of course continue to serve them the rest of the evening after humiliating herself. Edit, for all those asking, I am not sure about the tip, sorry. I really hope it was good. Also, I agree that G-string and a skirt is a dangerous game. It was a pretty conservative skirt, but still. I'm guessing she learned her lesson. Haha. That sounds genuinely horrible and embarrassing. Well, at my job I sit in a small, private room with one kid at a time all day, so I'm gonna say my job. Child psychologist or child psychiatrist. Priest. Could be a private tutor for school or music. Where they would be getting close to the kids to demonstrate and give positive feedback and praise. I think I'd have it pretty rough as security. He's got a piece on him. Yeah, I'll say. Edit, thank you for the awards, I'm glad people are enjoying this as much as I did typing it out. Middle school teacher. Imagine the comments by immature teen boys. I know someone in this job who looked young for her age and was only about 4.5 feet tall. She had an entire suite of mom's pissed body language and facial expressions to cow whole rooms full of kids, and pretty much had to, purely as a defensive measure. I'm 4'11" and work as an art teacher at a summer camp where the majority of the other workers are teenagers who don't care about the job or are too nervous to discipline the campers, so most of the scolding happens to come from me. But I'm also a voice actor. In short, I can really yell, and my voice carries. If I use my extra mean voice I can get them to stop in their tracks. A prison counselor. In a sex offenders prison. I actually knew a person that did this. Her job was to provide therapy to violent sexual offenders inside a prison. Surprisingly, she said she really only felt unsafe a couple times. Of course, part of that was because she carried around a buzzer at all time that would swarm the room with guards. I bet she wished her guards happy birthday, knew their anniversaries, children's names, etc. I know I'd want to be real chummy with them. Mal Santas. Edit, my most upvoted post is about naked Mal Santas Almeo. Bravo, this one got me. Beekeeper. Poor Stevo. Construction workers or polar explorer. Do the construction workers get to use a tool belt? Nope. Nature's pocket only. Strippers. Less business that day, probably. Everyone is at Hooters. They'd be called dressers for the day. Yeah baby, put it all on. Specialized trauma victim psychologist. Oh dear. It's okay. If you helicopter it in the opposite direction you undo the damage. Military, especially in an active wards. I dunno man, if a dude is crazy enough to charge at me nude my first instinct might be to run and not let the nude dude wrestle me to the ground. General Buttigieg did exactly that. Pope. Anything that isn't working in an office. I've seen the guys that work in an office. I really don't think I'd be comfortable seeing more of them. Yeah, but construction. Welding. Police and fire. Hopefully it's during a nice time of year or any outside work could become deadly. I'd rather see a building full of unreasonably shaped people all day than watch Johnny Electrician get zapped because his hang-down got in the way as he leaned over. Software engineer, not from a safety standpoint, but I don't want to see these people naked. Software engineer here, can attest. I am both personally offended but in total agreement with you lol. I happen to be in that field, but as with pretty much any office job, yeah, I'm gonna say the cons outweigh any pros here, haha. God awful being a groomer. I get enough hair splinters wearing clothes. Hair splinters. You'll get one at some point. It's the same as any other splinter. Dog/cat hair gets stuck in your paws, especially easily if it's just been cut and hits/rubs the right angle. Makes like an ingrown hair and pimple had a baby if you don't wash them out relatively quickly. Alligator feeder at zoo. This is normal in Florida, it's hot and Florida man ain't got time to get dressed before wrangling him some gator. People giving sexual harassment seminars. Okay, I'ma leave now. Rule number 1 of how to not sexually harass. Don't be naked. I've volunteered to provide an example of what not to do. Now I'll pick a person from the crowd to help me demonstrate another thing you should never do. Working in a cranberry marsh seems like a really bad one. Do cranberries have thorns? Or is it the spiders? It's the spiders. https://diucalfacts.com. I'm a children's psychologist. So. Yeah. I'd probably call in sick that day, or get sick after my first meeting. You actually have it the best. Think of all the kids you'll traumatize and who'll need your help to overcome it. Infinite money glitchill. Anything manufacturing. Hate to see body parts cut off. Police work. No bulletproof gear. Hate to see body parts cut off. I work in a plant, and I got the privilege of being in a meeting where someone had to say, we have to keep the machine offline until we find Brian's thumb. We know it's in there, we just don't know where. There's a Signature Brands candy factory in my town, they have a reputation for maiming people. School had to stop doing work programs with them after several students lost fingers. Line cooks. I was a deli cook for one of the top 3 big truck stops in the US. They never cleaned the grill vents to the overhead exhaust hood. I shot a laser thermometer at the pavement outside, in the sun, in Florida, and it was cooler than the temp 2 feet above my head indoors. They also removed our water fountains because of COVID and forced us to purchase water. Even our sodas from the fountain were taken directly out of our pay. Hello OSHA violation. If I could have stripped I would. And forced us to purchase water. That wasn't about COVID. Nurses, especially female nurses with all the creepy old men / altered mental status patients in hospitals. I'm surprised I had to scroll down this far. On top of sexual harassment, there are just way too many body fluids and nasty microbes floating around. My germophobic ass would rather get fired than have to go to work on this mandatory day, lol. We're already sexually harassed pretty much universally as it is with frumpy ass scrubs on and have little to no recourse. One of my very first clinical days as a student nurse was the first time and it hasn't stopped since. Tree topper, you cut off the top of trees. I work on the North Slope in Alaska, very cold pages. Literal blue balls.